how do I hold my own in front of an individual who is confident and intimidating in front of me? Now, this is a great question. And it's a great question because we can unpack the question and look at it through the self-leadership lens. The first question is really, what does hold my own mean, right? We all have boundaries, right? So there's me, not me. I am here speaking to you. Am I responsible for you? Absolutely not. I hope you're an adult and you're responsible for you. If we're in some kind of relationship, whether I'm your coach or mentor, or if you're in a relationship with somebody, a romantic relationship, there's always an accountability frame. We don't know in terms of this question who this individual is that they feel they need to hold their own against. I'm assuming it's in a workplace situation, in which case the frame or the context is the team, the company, etc. And so hold my own means we should all be on the same team. Now, if that person is external to the company, if they're a client, a vendor, etc., there is still an accountability to some kind of outcome. So that's the first point. We'll come back to that in a moment. The other thing is the assumption that if the other person is confident, that should in some way negatively impact you. And I want to completely blow that out of the water. I like being around other confident people, don't you? I mean, confident people say that they believe in their competencies. So it's great to be around people who know what they're doing, right? Now, if somebody's more confident than you, that should in no way negatively is the word I'm looking for. It should in no way negatively decrease your own confidence, right? Your confidence is your confidence, right? Confidence is not walking into a room thinking you are better or worse than anybody else. Confidence is walking into a room knowing you don't have to compare yourself with anybody else. Let me say that again. Confidence is not walking into a room thinking you are better or worse than somebody else. Confidence is walking into a room and not having to compare. So the big issue with this question is comparison, is seeing somebody as more or less confident as you. If you see somebody less confident, you could be prone to arrogance. If you see somebody as more confident, you feel the perceived threat. An emphasis here on perceived threat. Now, in my Mindset Mastery program, I teach the vessel of confidence, and that is a portable bubble of confidence that you carry with you. Your confidence is your confidence. It is about your self-belief in your competencies. Confidence is the bridge between thought and action. When we're confident, we are able to take action on our thoughts. When we are riddled with self-doubt, self-fear, self-loathing, self-criticism, we have all that's in our head and we don't take action, right? So if we know that we know our stuff, then we have our confidence, and it's our confidence. It's nobody else's confidence. It's not dependent. When I stand on a stage in front of an audience, a lot of people say, well, how do you maintain your confidence? Well, I say, how do you not? And those people who don't feel confident in front of an audience are comparing themselves with how the audience is responding to them. In this case, it's very important that your confidence is your confidence. When I walk on a stage to speak, I know what I'm talking about. I know my message, my script. And it's not dependent on the audience. Now, I want to build a relationship with the audience, some accountability with the audience, but it's not dependent. Okay. So first point, it's about boundary. Me, not me. Second point is confidence is yours, not dependent on somebody else. Now, the third part of this statement, how do I hold my own in front of an individual who is confident and intimidating? Now, intimidating means threat. Now, if you're standing in front of somebody who is actually a physical threat to you, or you're on a dark alley and some big, scary individual steps out in front of you, then that is intimidating because there is a chance of physical threat. And in that case, I always, from my years of martial arts, I would suggest you plant your feet solidly, turn slightly so you reduce the size of the target, but maintain your space. Now, this is not a lecture on self-defense. However, in the workplace, it sometimes feels like a dark alley with a big guy with intimidating, right? Same thing applies. You need to hold your ground as per the question. So the person asking this question knows they need to hold their ground. the person in front of you, is it a real or a perceived threat? Is it real? They're going to create physical issues. Is it a threat in terms of they can have you lose your job, lose your bonus, look bad, etc.? So the important thing here is are you just reacting to that increased confidence and that overbearing nature and then doubting your own ability? In which case, your self-defense is self-leadership, is you need to know, I am an expert in my area doing what I need to do. And this individual has maybe a different perspective. And this is where assertive communication comes in. Most people think there's a choice between being aggressive and being passive. Now, when you're faced with somebody you perceive as intimidating, being aggressive is going to backfire, right? Because if they're already possibly in an aggressive stance, you respond with aggressiveness, then it is pure conflict. If you go passive and you give them whatever they want, or you act meek and mild, you reinforce their possible perception that you don't have the competence that they're looking for, right? So either aggressive or passive is not the option. The only response is assertiveness. And assertiveness is the ability to convey your needs, wants, and beliefs in a way that actively encourages the other person to communicate their needs, wants, and beliefs. Now, if it's in an office, in a business situation, this person is in a senior position to you, I would highly recommend you find out their needs, wants, and beliefs first. So you say, okay, you're communicating, let me understand. What is it you need? What is it you want? And pace back what their beliefs are. This is an important project. This needs to be done by this time. And then you could respond assertively with, well, okay, here's what I need. If you want this project done by this time, I need these resources, or I want this level of support, or I want the timeline to be moved so that I can deliver quality work. And the secret to this is the accountability between the two individuals. What is that relationship, right? In a relationship with a spouse, the accountability is to the marriage, right? When you're both parents, the accountability is to bringing up the kids. When we work in an office, the accountability is to the team goal and the company's mission and vision. So the response to that aggressive or assertive individual, intimidating individual is a frame. In terms of what we're trying to achieve here, let me understand, what do you need? What do you want? In terms of me supporting you achieving that, here's what I need and here's what I want. And that, in a nutshell, is how you hold your own in front of an individual who is more confident you perceive and more intimidating that you perceive. I hope that helps that question.